and welcome to a Blu-ray update video, because I haven't done one of those in a while, and this is going to be a big old bag of Fopp. I went to Fopp a few nights ago, still haven't really taken all the Blu-rays out of the bag or anything, but I was out in London and went to see The Burbs in 35mm, which is incredible and a really great experience that I should probably make a separate video about. But needless to say, one of my favourite films of all time. In a cinema, you know, even though it was a fairly small room, but it was nicely packed and people were laughing at all the funny bits, and it was a lovely experience. And afterwards, I went along to Fopp. I didn't realise that they opened till like 11 o'clock at night, so it was one of those weird things where I was like browsing around, essentially HMV, at like 9:30 at night. It was really weird. But I ended up buying quite a few things and trying to support HMV on their way out. Maybe not, you know, I mean, there still hasn't been an official word as to what's going to happen with HMV. But regardless, I couldn't resist some of the sale prices on some of these things. Like Fopp, if you're unaware, is essentially owned by HMV. It essentially is HMV. I don't know really the difference, but Fopp always seems to have, for the most part, cheaper prices, more in line with like Amazon, really. So that's really a plus to go into Fopp, but it's a bit out of the way for me, so it's not somewhere I go to very often. Anyway, I took advantage of some of the great prices and got myself a big old bag of Fopp. So let's open it together and see what I got inside. Before we get to that, don't know what that was. I'm actually going to show you one Blu-ray and 3 books that I grabbed this week. Yeah, well, the Blu-ray actually ties in with my next Blu-ray update, which is like all the anime stuff I bought like in the beginning of December that took like a month to arrive, except for this one, which turned up a couple of days ago, and it is Cowboy Bebop, the complete series. This was like $12.99, I think, which is a great price. I watched the first, I want to say 12 or 13 episodes of this on Netflix last summer, and I fell in love with this show. Oh my god. To the point where I didn't even continue watching it. Like, I just wanted to savor it, to the point where I just actually stopped watching it. So I thought, I get the Blu-ray, but then the Blu-ray is like £30–40, you know, like, it's just really expensive. Then alltheanime.com had their December 12 Days of Christmas sale, and this was one, and it was $12.99, and it sold out instantly, and I didn't get it. I was like, oh shit. And then, like, I think at the end of their 12 Days of Christmas, they had like a second chance offer for this. So I got my order in straight away, and they sold out every single copy. So I've literally been waiting for them to reprint this, and so that's why it was sent much later than everything else. But this has 4 Blu-ray discs, 26 episodes totaling 650 minutes, audio commentaries on 5 episodes. I'm assuming that's with the English dub cast. Japanese commercials for the show, a music video, music video remix, a short film, apparently, which is kind of cool, and clean end credit sequence. So from what I'm aware, this isn't an amazing Blu-ray. I think people talk about how it needs to be re-encoded, damn it, the compression, I don't know. But it looked fantastic on Netflix, so I'm sure it's going to look, for me, great on Blu-ray. Love this show. It is about a group of kind of misfits and wanderers making their way in the galaxy, way in the future, where it's like a space western, and it is just so much fun. It looks amazing. For a science fiction fan, I'm in love with this show, and I can't wait. I'll probably start from the beginning again, to be honest, and really soak up everything. And yeah, so Cowboy Bebop, really excited about that one. Now, I got 3 books from the local charity shop. Just wandered in to see what they had, and they had quite a few new books in their selection of film-related books. The first one is just a simple kind of a fun little kind of random thing. It's The Movie Doctors with Simon Mayo and Mark Kermode. I quite like Mark Kermode. I've read most of one of his books before. I got it from the library last year, I think, and really enjoyed it. And this has been quite enjoyable so far. It's kind of just a fun, playful kind of thing where they've assigned themselves the movie doctors, and they kind of, you know, prescribe things for certain movies. It's really fun and just tongue-in-cheek, and again, for a couple of quid, well worth it. This one, yeah, I don't know why I bought this really, but I'm a collector and enthusiast of this series. 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. I think I'd quite like to own every version, to be honest, because I've poured so much of my life into this project, and I quite liked the Inception cover, and just to see again some of the slight differences inside the book and so on. But yeah, I have 3 of these now, which is a bit overkill, to be honest, but it was like £2, so whatever. And this one I've seen in shops before. In fact, I think I saw this in the Works for like a really cheap price, but the cover was all like messed up, and this one is in fairly good condition. There's a lot of scratches on it, but it looks fine from outward appearances. It is the movie book. So this is just like a, you know, one of those things you can just chuck on the coffee table, you know, just like, it goes into like the history of films, and has like factoids and posters and images and, you know, trivia, which is the same as factoids and whatnot. But yeah, it goes a little section on Tokyo Story and Yasujiro Ozu. So it goes into like world cinema and stuff, not just the super popular things. And let's see how far it actually runs up to. There's a directory at the end, which I guess is handy if you want to look for something. It runs up to 2014 with Gravity and Boyhood. So yeah, just a fun little book. Again, a couple of quid to throw into the film book collection, which is getting quite nice and not large, but you know, appropriately stocked. Okay, so the Fopp bag. How long have we been going for? Too long. Let's get into the Fopp bag and more books. In fact, I bought 4 books from Fopp. Wasn't planning to, but they have loads of books by the till. And I was like, ooh. And I was thinking, you know, I need to read more. Let's grab that. So the first one I got is a no-brainer for me. It's a Philip K. Dick novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Blade Runner. I love how they put the title of the book like in small text that says, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Filmed as Blade Runner. Blade Runner. Get Blade Runner, the novel. Now, this is the original novella, I suppose. I mean, how long is this? Not even, you know, not even 200 pages long, by Philip K. Dick, which was the inspiration for Blade Runner. So I thought I would give that a read. And I've not read any Philip K. Dick before, and you know, from so many of the films that I love that are born of his original source material, I think that I might enjoy it. And if I don't, I don't. But I thought I would grab that one along with, if I can get out of the bag, because it's kind of all packed in very tightly, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale. I am fairly certain this is the inspiration for Total Recall, though it didn't have Total Recall spread across the front cover, nor can I find any mention of it on the back, but that's okay. I mean, these are 2 for £5. This retails for a tenner. The Blade Runner one retails for £9. So I mean, you know, to buy these at retail would be £19. Got them for a £5. Pretty damn good. £2.50 each. Brand new, and got that new book smell. Oh, that took me right back to my childhood. That was like a burst of like, that was like a memory punch. That like genuinely gives me like a weird kind of warming sensation in my chest. That reminds me of being a kid and getting specifically the Star Wars Young Jedi Knights books and reading them and the smell of the page. Anyways, I'll leave all that in for free as I always do. So there is it was a random one to throw in, but I love science fiction. I need to read more, so this is going to hopefully give me an in to reading more. It's like, well, it's related to a movie. And I paid for everything, and I saw this on the stack next to my knee, and I thought, oh, I should get that. And it is The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, with a foreword from Twin Peaks co-creators Mark Frost and David Lynch. This is written by David Lynch's daughter, Jennifer Lynch, and it is, for all intents and purposes, the diary of Laura Palmer, which is a fairly sizable aspect of the original TV series. Laura Palmer was the focus of the show Twin Peaks, and she's killed and washed ashore in the very first episode. The whole show is about her life, you know, after the fact. And so the movie, actually, Fire Walk With Me, I think features her diary. I'm pretty sure. We definitely get something from Harold in Fire Walk With Me, but regardless, it'll be really interesting to kind of just dive into that a little bit and see. I mean, it's like literal kind of diary entries. I can see already one is marked L at the end for Laura, the other is marked Laura at the end, so that kind of feels real in a way. Like, you don't always have like the same set sign-offs in a diary. Like just that instant look at it when I opened the page made me believe it a little bit more. You know, one diary entry has August 3rd, the other one has August 4th, 1986, 3:30 a.m. So it's just, yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that tremendously. And because it's the shortest, I might get to that one first. And then finally, just to throw in one last book to get the 2 for £5 deal. I saw this and kind of chuckled and thought, why not? It's The Disaster Artist. So this is actually the original book written by Greg Sestero and Tom Bissell, with a new introduction by James Franco. I loved the film, The Disaster Artist. I still haven't seen The Room in its entirety, but I thought the book would be interesting. Does it have any photos in here? Yes, it does. Okay, so you actually get some photos from the making of The Room, but I definitely want to read this at some point, so there we go. And before we get to the Blu-rays from Fopp, there's one more thing that I saw and thought, I've got to get it. It is a t-shirt, and it is Metropolis. In fact, I'm going to change into it right now and get out of my Dr. Ian Malcolm special and yeah, wear the Metropolis t-shirt. So here we go. Oh, seamless transition there we go. So got the Metropolis t-shirt on. I love this thing, I love the film, and to get a silent film t-shirt just seemed like a no-brainer and something I should have done you know, much earlier than I already have. Now to the Blu-rays. Okay, I got quite a few things here. Yeah, there's quite a few things knocking about in this bag, so where to even start, actually? I'll start with this. This is actually a DVD. Yes, shock horror, I bought a DVD. This is a film that, to my knowledge, has just had no Blu-ray release whatsoever, and I bought this, came home that very night, went on Blu-ray.com, and people were already talking about this film's 4K restoration that was recently signed off on by the director and will be released in America on Blu-ray at the beginning of this year. So I was like, really? But there's no UK release as of yet, and I don't know if I'd really want to own it. But my reasoning for buying this film is that it is 7 hours long. It is in the book, 1,000 More Movies You Must See Before You Die, so I have to see it at some point. I actually have this film downloaded on a hard drive somewhere from like years ago, but I don't think I was ever going to watch that. I needed to buy it and to put money into this and to say, right, I paid for it, now I need to watch it and get it done and over with. I'm going to try and keep an open mind with it, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to enjoy this film. It is Satan's Tango, a Hungarian film, and this is a 3-disc set. Obviously you need quite a few DVDs to house a 7-hour movie, unless you're going to completely compress the hell out of it. And it was £5, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to grab it, I'm going to watch it, probably then sell it. But who knows, maybe this will be a revelatory film-going experience for me, and I'll sell this on and wait for the Blu-ray and whatnot. But yeah, I know there's a cat scene in this that I'm really not looking forward to watching, but regardless, Satan Tango. Now onto the Blu-rays. So this one I bought because I've been going through the Jackie Chan box sets, the Project A release and the Police Story release from Eureka, and I've just been loving diving back into the world of Jackie Chan, so I thought I'd grab their other single release of one of his movies, City Hunter. I've heard this isn't a very good one, but that it's very bright and colourful and based on the manga, and to be honest, I don't care if it is all that good of a film. I'm sure, I mean, when was this released? 1993. I mean, he's still fairly in his prime at that point, and I'm sure that no matter how kind of a movie can be, Jackie Chan's kind of influence is going to be something entertaining in the very least. And this is a nice slipcover special edition version with a bunch of interviews and presented from a brand new 2K restoration. So City Hunter will be added to the Jackie Chan pile, and I will talk about that at some point in Asian Cinema Season 2. Now, actually, there's one more thing before we get to the main bulk of these Blu-rays. It is one of the sale items from the HMV Big Sale, actually, which I was looking for quite a while, never seemed to find. And they had one copy in Fopp, and it was £4, and it is Kubo and the Two Strings, the Laika movie. I love Laika, I think their films are phenomenal. I didn't love this one, I thought it was fantastic in its own way, but it wasn't to me as amazing of a film as, say, Paranorman. You know, I enjoyed it more than the Box Trolls, though. But this film has some incredible imagery. Like, I think it's just the story that to me felt a little bit worn. You know, it was done well, it seemed to have the best intentions, but visually though, and the music, oh my god, I love the score, and the kind of the central theme of this instrument, the two strings, that I just thought was beautiful. So I really did love this film, but I was held back a little bit by the story, I think. It's one of those kind of like 8 out of 10 movies, you know, where it's so much fun to watch and take in and enjoy, but the story is a little bit wanting in some aspect for me. But regardless, it was one I absolutely wanted to own and to watch again on Blu-ray. And it has a commentary with the director and a couple of special features, and so I'd love to see that. I believe the big kind of skeleton creature in the film is the biggest stop motion puppet ever created. So it's that element of stop motion that I find so impressive and gorgeous to look at as well, that makes me even more of a kind of fan of it. So the majority of the Blu-rays I have here are from the BFI sale that Fopp have going on at the minute, which puts most of the BFI titles down to like £6, which is just a steal when you consider how good and underrated I think these BFI titles really are. So I'll just grab them out of the bag. The first one here is a film from the book, 1001 Movies, so I have to see it at some point. And it's a film I've heard very, very good things about. It's a French film, I believe, and it's a kind of a thriller, and is about this treacherous journey. It is The Wages of Fear. And this got quite the kind of hype when it came out. I think it only came out last year. 2017, okay, so it's a fairly new release, and it comes from a new 4K restoration. There's boatloads of special features on there. But regardless, I think I've seen like a trailer for this, like a trailer from like the 4K restoration, like, you know, kind of hyping it up for like the new generation, the new audience, and kind of the new Blu-ray. But I think the Criterion Collection has released this as well, so this is one to definitely check out. This one I was on the fence about, because I'm probably going to get that big Ingmar Bergman box set from Criterion at some point, and I'm not sure if this is in there. I'm assuming it has to be, because that box set has pretty much everything. It is The Magic Flute from Ingmar Bergman. I love Bergman's films. The few that I've seen have always impressed me. Even if there are a few that I haven't loved, I've found things in them that have been really captivating. But when I've seen one of his films that are great, they're great. And I don't know too much about this one. It concerns the opera, which is something I'm not particularly a fan of, but not particularly kind of, you know, against or dislike. It's just something I'm very neutral on. So I'd be intrigued really to see how this plays in one of Bergman's films. But it also has as a special feature a 1935 film from Lotte Reiniger, who I love. Like, her work is just you know, so to have one of her films, hopefully in high definition, fingers crossed, but regardless, was a selling point on this. And there's a couple of other really interesting special features, so I felt like it would be worth getting it for those special features regardless. It's £6. Excuse me. And you know, these all have nice booklets. The releases feel weighty and definitely worth £6. It's just, it was hard for me to not just grab everything, because they were so cheap, and I really tried to pick my spots. This one is, I'm not sure if it's an Irish film, but it is set in Ireland anyway, in 1922, the newly independent Ireland, and it is a silent film, The Informer. Now this also has a sound version of the film. I think this came out in 1929. Yep, 1929. Now, silent movies, I'm a collector, what can I say, and a huge enthusiast of silent films, so I pretty much want anything that's released on Blu-ray from the silent era, whether it's trash or not. I want to see it, I want to kind of, you know, have my opinion on it, and the BFI silent releases are always stellar. So this one again is loaded with special features from the sound version of the film itself to, I think there's a number of newsreels from 1921 and 1922 as well, and yeah, there's loads of extra kind of short films from the period. And you know, regardless, I just huge fan of silent films. I think the BFI do an incredible job. I think in the UK now, I think BFI are kind of the leading boutique label as far as silent films go. Massive Cinema seem to have calmed down a bit on the silent films, but BFI always seem to be at least every year releasing a couple of really good ones. And the next one is a French film from Jacques Rivette. And oh wow, it's over 3 hours long. I wouldn't have thought that from the way that this looks. Another film in the book, Celine and Julie Go Boating. I read the back of this and it sounds like a really intriguing story. And again, I'm going to have to watch it at some point anyway. And I haven't dived into any Jacques Rivette yet, even though I have like the big the big Arrow Academy box set that I haven't dived into yet because it's just so daunting. But again, definitely going to have to watch it at some point, and for £6 you just can't pass it up. And two more. This one I'm actually really looking forward to checking out. It is a Mike Leigh film, and I've seen far too little of his work, to be fair. And this one is, I think, one of the ones that gets talked about quite a bit. I think Criterion have released this as well. Life is Sweet. I love Timothy Spall, you know, but just British kind of dramas. I'm not sure if this is a comedy drama, in fact. The hilarious yet tragic domestic portrait. There we go. I think that kind of describes that. This has a 2012 film starring Eddie Marsan as a extra, a 2017 interview with Jane Horrocks, an audio commentary with Mike Leigh, and a 62-minute interview, audio only, with Mike Leigh as well. So I think that as far as British films go, there's still a lot I haven't seen. Well, there's a lot of everything I haven't seen, but you know, I think that as a Brit, I should have seen more British films than I have, and so this is certainly one that I thought, you know what, I should get that and check it out. And then finally, for the BFI releases, I've been looking at this one for quite a number of years, actually. This came out in, I think, 2016. A couple of years ago this came out. And it is another 3+ hour epic, Farewell My Concubine. I believe I saw Thomas Pollock either making a review of this on YouTube or talking about it very highly on Letterboxd. And it is a Chinese film about an opera troupe. So we've got two kind of opera-themed movies here. And it stars Leslie Cheung, who I love from A Chinese Ghost Story, which I'm sure is so completely far removed from a movie like this. But I really like him, and so that's kind of a plus. And this has a 24-minute making of documentary. But apart from that, it really is just a film that is also in the book that I need to get to. And perhaps I'll cover this for my Asian Cinema Season 2. So there were the 6 BFI titles that I grabbed. And finally, I picked up another Artificial Eye box set. I say another because in my next Blu-ray update, I show you another Artificial Eye box set. Now this, again, is one of those blind buys that, you know, could go either way. And I'm protected, you know, pretty nicely by the fact that I could sell this on for the same amount that I paid for it, if not more. Not that I would want to be extortionate, but this is the Louis Malle Features Collection. I know nothing about this director except for the film My Dinner with Andre, which I've heard of quite a bit over the years from various different places, actually, and I really want to watch that film. There's also a film in here that's in the book, Au revoir les enfants, which is, I guess, goodbye to the children, maybe, something like that. It's about a new student arriving at a Catholic boarding school in Nazi-occupied France. But during the rituals that young boys have, one discovers that this new student is secretly a Jew. Very interesting and very loaded. So this goes from 1958 to 1990, so it covers quite a few decades. And as I say in the next video, I love these kind of director collections that cover a big portion of their career. This has 10 movies, so £30 as well, which is ridiculous. I think this retailed at like £60, something like that. It went down to 45. It's now on Amazon for 35, but out of stock, and Fopp has it for 30. So £3 per movie ain't too bad at all, and it's a really nice thick set with a 100-page booklet, I think. And so yeah, this is one that I just had to kind of grab while it was cheap. I don't know when I'll be getting through it. That's the thing, but you know, I love having them kind of on standby, so to speak. And also there's one film in there from the book, so that's kind of an extra incentive. And I was umming and ahhing about it, but for the price point, I thought I'd grab it. So another big bag of Blu-rays, and that's all I have to say, really. So yeah, leave your thoughts down below on any of the things that I showed. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And apart from that, that's goodbye from me. Goodbye from my Metropolis t-shirt. And yeah, why am I finding it difficult to end this video? Probably because I haven't done one for quite a while. at the recording of this video anyway. I've just been doing my John Carpenter movie marathon, which took like 5 days, and so filming a normal video feels a little bit strange at this point, but regardless, all I need to do is say goodbye, thanks for watching, see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.